Hey, hope everybody's doing all right tonight. My name's Jeff. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I mean, I've always enjoyed what YouTube had to offer, whether it was goofy videos of people busting their ass or just watching clips of your favorite TV show. But at some point, probably 5 years ago, I started to use YouTube as a tool to research things that other people um, might not hear about in mainstream TV or news, um, such as false flags. 9/11 truth was a big one that started me out, and also just health in general, just how we've been lied to about the food pyramid and how to be a healthy human being. Anyways, that being said, with all that history and whatnot, I had a lot of things driving me to want to contribute. Rocky, quit. Sorry, my dog's acting a fool. Anyways, I just really wanted to contribute to this. Stop. Really wanted to contribute to this movement in one way or another, and I had an idea. We have Facebook where people are supposedly free to express themselves and talk about whatever they want to, and criticize the news and this and that. But day after day, it seems to have become more and more controlled. So I had an idea of a way to safely unite all of us truth seekers and people who are looking into alternative ideas and alternative ways of thinking and alternative ways of getting information overall, a place to talk without being spied on, without having their information gathered and all these other things. So that being said, I was really inspired at the time. It was about 2 years ago by a guy named Zachary Hubbard. He was on YouTube. He was talking about gematria, and that was his main thing, was showing how numbers and words and letters can show you patterns in the way the elite move and work. And it really resonated with me, and I saw it in a lot of different ways, and I think a lot of other people do too. And I think that no matter how he came across this information or whatever, I was inspired by the fact that he was pushing it so hard, and he had a real passion for doing it, and that always resonated with me, and it made me feel like I had to do something. I had to contribute one way or another, and I didn't know any other way to do it except for this idea that I had. It kept popping in my brain, and the funny thing is one of my best friends from high school, who he lives about 3 states south of me. We don't even live close to each other anymore, but we've always kept contact, and as soon as I shared this information of gematria with him, he was hooked. I mean, he was absolutely like, man, there is something to this. He saw it as quickly as I did. We both put our heads together on this idea of a platform for truth seekers to talk without being harassed by trolls and this and that. And long story short, hold on, I got some notes here. Zach mentions, anyways, the whole reason for me making this video is that there was a big falling out with All4Truth, and I don't think anybody ever really got to tell the other side of the story. I think Zach just took it upon himself to make the story his own. So there was a caller on his radio show that's called The Gematria Effect on Truth Frequency Radio. I haven't listened to this radio show in probably well over a year. I haven't even kept up with Zach, but something told me to look on Truth Frequency Radio the other night. I was cooking food. It was late at night. I was gonna make a little something to eat before I went to sleep, and I went on there, and it just so happened that Zach was live, and so I went back to the last episode so I could listen to it from the beginning, and that way I wouldn't be coming in on the very end of an episode. Anyways, long story short, as soon as that episode starts, the first caller asked about, they said they're new to the truth community. They're obviously a young caller. You can tell and he asked about what happened with the All4Truth website. And so Zach's, he says, sure, I'm glad to talk about it, this and that. And he says it was a high-end website that was built, by these two gentlemen, and he mentions myself and my friend Aaron, and he also said it was built with the money that he had raised. Okay, so the first part was true, the fact that the website was built, it was high-end, it was functioning, and it was everything that we had promised it would be. Okay, second, Zach then says it was built with the money he had raised. Okay, and that's the first half truth. Okay, that's not necessarily a lie, but it's really not true. It's half truth. I mean, the truth is that I contacted Zach probably around, I can't remember, to be honest, it was probably August or September of 2016, and I proposed this idea to him and told him that one of my best friends was well versed in website management and building things online, and just all these things that I have no idea about, but I had this idea that this could really work with us three if we put our heads together, and really work together. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. But I'm gonna keep going along here. The truth is, let's see where am I at on my notes. Okay, so once we contacted Zach, with this idea, basically my buddy and I had already been working on this idea. We wanted to present a plan for the idea, as well as we thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and have like a some type of structure already in place that was ready to roll, ready to be shown or whatever, so people could see that this is something legit and it's not just a pipe dream. So we did that. We built the website. We had it completely operating, with some of the baseline features, which were blogs, forums, chat rooms, a main thread for people just to post on, and then also a shout box for people who weren't members, who wanted to, see what was going on before they joined, and all you had to do was provide an email and a password. Okay, so all that being said, everything is going great to start out with. We get everything going with Zach. He immediately starts on his YouTube to raise money, and he's showing the whole time that he's raising this money, he's showing pictures of our website and how it works, and showing it in action and this and that, and also showing the merchandise and everything else. And we had already put up the money for it. Okay, so as he's raising all this money, this money comes in quick. He gets up to damn near close to $20,000, and last time I looked at it, I think it was at $18,000 on his PayPal, which was supposed to be paid to Aaron, who was the guy who was the main designer of the website. I just had this idea, and I knew a friend who could do it, and Zach was a medium to be a platform to help get this off the ground. But myself and Aaron and other people who were friends of mine were also putting out the information, and stickers were being made by people who were members of the community. We had tons of people join the website the first day, so many in fact that it was causing issues with the email server. And then long story short, one of the first problems we started having was that there was people from some of the main Gmail sites and Verizon Mail, or I can't remember the names of all the email providers, that were blocking us as spam. So our website was being basically boxed out by what seemed to be the defenders, or the people who were running these main emails, these main email providers such as Gmail, Google, Hotmail, some of the main ones. Like I said, I can't remember exactly the names off the top of my head, but so we suggested that people use a encrypted email, like protonmail.com. It's all encrypted, free email, or something else similar. And so people who chose to do that, it worked for. And other people we continue to have a little bit of issues from. We work those kinks out. In the meantime, probably a couple weeks later, maybe a month later, I'm not sure, Zach's entire computer gets hacked, okay? And we're talking about his YouTube, his Twitter, his All4Truth account, which we've already given him administrative privileges where he could, do basically everything that I could do. Well, he could do everything that I could do. He couldn't do all the stuff that the main designer could do because, that would be compromising at this point from a guy who just got his entire, shit hacked, okay? So that being said, man, we told him just to cool it for a minute. And at the same time, he's getting attacked by a lot of people accusing him of hacking himself. That I had nothing to do with. Aaron had nothing to do with. I don't know who was accusing him of this, and he showed me some evidence of one person accusing him of it, and he wanted to ban this guy from the website. Lo and behold, this was one of the people who had bought more merchandise, who had contributed more to the website, which he says in his own podcast. This person was a contributing person, and all he was saying was bringing up some of the weird things, weird happenings, and he's just trying to bring them to the forefront on something that's called All4Truth, okay? And if Zach was for the truth and there wasn't anything to hide, then why was he immediately he threw a fit, y'all?